swimming is such a great sport. I mean, I really love it. I wasn't a particularly fit child, I wasn't particularly good at any other sport, but swimming is something I really love, and it's really lovely to share that passion for swimming that I have and be part of this.
Well, I'm really excited that there's so many people taking part of all abilities, and I think it's great that there's lots of youngsters that can swim with their mums and dads and stuff, and a lot of people have never done this before.
This British Gas Swim Britain initiative is so important. It's a great way to get families but also friends and people involved in swimming.
They're all here to support each other, which is great morale, and hopefully will boost their confidence and self-esteem.
What we want is that in the next few years we want 500,000 people swimming regularly, and the benefits of that are huge.
It's a big challenge, but I think having events like this is really going to make a big difference to that.
Good evening and welcome to Tollcross International Swimming Centre in Glasgow for coverage of the Scottish Gas National Swimming Championship. This is brought to you live and exclusive by Scottish Swimming in partnership with Glasgow Life, Scottish Gas, Speedo and QTV Sports. It's the final day of these national championships, and what a championships they've been. We've had Scottish records, British records, world rank times, and at the moment 21 qualifiers for nomination. Last night we saw Ross Murdoch stun Olympian Michael Jimison in the 100 breaststroke. Let's take a look at that and a best from this morning's this morning's heats, pardon me. Building to the finish, but as you get to 7 or 8 metres off the wall, making sure you're checking that pad, you're making the adjustment, because it's going to be very important. You can see there a wonderful spot over there in lane 2 by Josh Booth. Nice to see him move up to the 100. He did a very, very powerful 50. And just getting the touch in 55.69. A much more controlled heat, that one, Rob. And Caitlin now in the last 10. You see here, head down, going for the wall. She is the Scottish record holder at 54 point. There's a 56.2. She comes with a 55.8 entry. So it's just all about age and stage, really. Easing up slightly, I think, Harkin. She wants to be first in the heat. Doesn't seem to be going all out for that time, but she still slots in a nice 56.7. Well, with a 55.5. It's a big drop. Check those times then. 150.73. Nice pit swim off a 151 from Wallace in the previous heat. Just making sure. Getting victory. Improving the time. 150. Robbie just stroking it in. He knows he's going to be in a cracking final and an exciting challenge. Rolling in 150.63. Middle of the pool for the A final. That's where he wants to be, and saying, come and get me. Yeah, there's more up and down, there's less stroke length, but 217 quite easily for Hannah, and that leads the meet, of course, as you would expect. Corey Scott, I think that's a lovely tempo in the 50 breaststroke. It's not too fast, it's not too slow. Strikes the wall, 31.55.
Wow.
Well, Catherine Johnson shaking in her trainers. What a beautiful little swim that was. Nice tidy finish in lane 6 from Alistair Miley of Geary, but they are 15 metres behind Dan Wallace as he cruises in 4:22.5. Well, and what a heat session it was this morning. Johnson and Scott in the breaststroke, with Scott going very near the Scottish record. A great day of racing, even in the afternoon heats, and this finals looks like an absolute stunner. So let's take a look at what's coming up in tonight's session. The men's 100 butterfly, still looking for Ryan Bennett to make the qualifying time. The women's 100 freestyle, well, it'd be tight, but there's really places at stake in the 100. As there is in the men's 200, with Robbie Rennick under attack from Wallace and Scott. Short 50s, could be a record there in the 50 breaststroke. And in the men's 400 AM, probably the pick of the meet for individual events, it's Dan Wallace and Lewis Smith, probably under the qualifying time, and maybe a third place as well. In the women's 1500 metre freestyle, it's not in the games, but it is the last event for the women's here in Tollcross. And then we finish with the men's and the women's 4x100 medley relay. Always a glittering event with all the strokes and skills on display from the 4 swimmers in all the teams. I'm joined tonight and today and yesterday by Rob Lee, former Commonwealth swimmer. Rob, particularly, what are you looking forward to tonight?
Well, I think the women's and the men's freestyle events, so the 100 and the 200 respectively, have got to have my vote tonight. That will obviously shape the relays, the 4x1 and the 4x2 relays for men and women. So it'll be interesting to see how that team takes shape. But also the women's 50 metres breaststroke. 2 Edinburgh girls going head-to-head, Corey and Catherine. And then lastly, obviously, the men's 400 IM, just to round off a fantastic night. I think 4 swimmers in the mix there to make that nomination time.
That's good. Well, you've had them highlighted. Thanks, Rob. Now, this weekend's championship has been as much to do with you at home as it does the swimmers here. And we want you still to play your part in making this event biggest and best ever national championships for Scottish swimming. To have your say, you have 1 session left to get in and tweet us using the hashtag SGNC2014, or find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Scottish Swimming. And you can still take a picture if you're swimming in the Sunday evening. We want you to take a picture and Instagram it in using the same hashtag SGNC2014. We've been absolutely stunned by your reaction to these championships, and we hope you'll remain excited and engaged by Scottish Swimming's coverage for the remainder of the weekend and beyond. So if you'd like to keep up with all the latest Scottish swimming video content, here's how to do it.
Welcome to Scottish Swimming's official YouTube channel. No matter if you compete or participate in swimming, disability swimming, diving, synchro, open water, water polo or masters, if you're a teacher, tutor or coach, or simply interested in what we're up to, this is the place to find it, from wherever you are in the world. On our channel, you can watch our key events live or on demand, or simply the highlights afterwards. All for free 24/7. If you subscribe, you'll not miss any new videos, so what are you waiting for?
Now all 12 sessions of these championships are on the Scottish channel, and to revisit at your leisure and daily highlights from the team at QTV Sports. Your support means a lot, so get tweeting and we'll read out the best during the 1500 probably the long event in this evening's session. The next event on the Scottish swimming calendar is the Commonwealth Games water polo event. Brand new Games entry for that sport, and it's up in Aberdeen, and here's some information about that.
So if you're in Aberdeen, 5th to 12th of April, come along, Aberdeen Sports Village. For more information at scottishwomen.com/CWPC 2014.
Well, the last session of these 2014 championships, the officials have been absolutely wonderful, committing 4 days, many of them taking breaks from their job and coming here to support Scottish swimming. You know, it takes 70 officials to fill all the posts in a major meet like this. So a tremendous commitment. Scotland runs on volunteers, and they are most welcome, and they are absolutely wonderful at what they've done. So we thank them just in advance of this final session. It's building up nicely for an absolutely packed excitement. Every race has got something in it, some kind of story in it. And I thought this afternoon that the youngsters responded very well, Rob.
Yeah, there was some fantastic swims, especially in the 50s. I was very impressed with the sprints. You know, sometimes the 3.5 days of competition can take the sharpness off, but there was actually a lot of big PBs in those 50s for girls and boys. So that was really impressive, and also the tough 400 at the end for the guys. There was lots of really good swims in that as well.
Yeah, it's a long time across 4 days, and many of these younger swimmers were swimming in the morning heats in one event, and then in different events in the afternoon, even though the events programme has been the same morning, afternoon and evening. Now, if you haven't been with us and you're joining us for this final session because you've seen how good these championships are, this is the tow cross facility. Across there is lane 0, and nearest to us is lane 9. It's a 10-lane 50-metre pool. It's got all the proper markings for Olympic type events, and that's why the games can come here. But just to get yourself oriented, it's lane 0 at the top of your screen, lane 9 at the bottom, and 4 and 5 in the middle there are bounded by yellow or golden anti-turbulence discs. And so you know that's the centre of the pool. Lane 4 furthest away from our view, lane 5 nearest to us, and that just lets you orient. Starting end, of course, to the left of the camera positions, the turn end to the right. Across the way from us, of course, are all the athletes, and you know, a little bit of spectator area just to the left there, and there's more to our direct left to see this session. So everything's in place, everything's ready to go, and we just look forward now to some great racing. And if the racing is good, then I'm sure the times will come into the Commonwealth time for nomination. First event is the men's 100 butterfly. Here are the athletes in the multi-class final, which comes first.
In 5, from Carnegie, Stefan Hogan. In lane 6, from Fife Performance, Oliver Carter. In lane 2, representing Highland, Adam Scott. In lane 7, representing Highland, Lachlan Macbeth. These are the finalists for event 401, the men's 100 meters butterfly multi-classification.
So the first final in the 100 butterfly, the men's 100 fly, sees a number of swimmers in different classifications on the disabled swimming, so they are swimming in their category. They swim together, the times are then taken away, the points are calculated against their performance, and that dictates the orders. A couple of S14s, and then S8, S9, S10. Watch the swimmer in lane 4, James Clegg, with the fastest time. 103.6. He's capable of 59.9. He is the Scottish and British record holder on this event. So no slouch. He swam in the able-bodied section in the morning. Didn't swim very well really off a 59.9 entry time, but very powerful up the first 50.
Yeah, James has been a busy boy these last 4 days. You've seen him in multiple different events. Really good first 50 there. 28.4. So heat swim of 103.66. We're looking to sneak under that with a 28.4 first 50.
Trying to hold the form. You can see that the stroke's just getting a little bit shorter. Not quite the distance. You can see elsewhere under the various classifications and techniques, they're working very hard. So James Clegg, Stephen Hogan in second place. In third, Oliver Carter. And up there, Adam Scott in 2. And Lachlan Macbeth. So 102.52, an improvement from heats to final. A 107 for Hogan, 106.7. So just a little bit tough. 2 big events in the same day. Coming in, Carter, 123, improvement of 4 seconds over the heat swim. There you have Lachlan Macbeth in the S14 category. 132 to a 127, and then a 131.5, just going 131.8. It's Adam Scott over there in lane 2. So a mixture of result, couple of personal bests. Results confirmed. Clegg on a 2.5, Hogan on a 7.7, Carter 1.19, the 1, 2 and 3 in the race, but the calculation comes post-swim.
Yeah, good committed swim there from James. You can see he just lost a little bit of stroke length in that last 25 metres. Slowed him down slightly and a little bit of a stuttery finish, but actually finished the end of his stroke there. So decent, faster swim than this morning.
Very good first 50 out in 28, and it looked so easy. But the load of the 4 days just starting to hit him in that last 15, 20 metres. The next swim here in Tollcross is the B final of the men's 100 butterfly. And the athletes will be readying behind the screen, all nerves, good control, and we look forward to welcoming them, the B finalists.
Please welcome the finalists for event 401, the men's 100 meters butterfly B final. In lane 4, representing Loughborough, Adam Fall. In lane 5, representing United Bristol, Bartek Karpich. In lane 3, representing Loughborough, Stephen Rennick. In lane 6, representing United Bristol, Matt Bray. In lane 2, representing Loughborough, David Masters. In lane 7, representing Best, Ryan Brown. In lane 1, representing Warrender, Henry Mackenzie. In lane 8, representing Edinburgh University, Daniel Baraklov. In lane 0, representing Warrender, James Black. In lane 9, representing South Lanarkshire, Ross Leslie. These are the finalists for the B final of the men's 100 metres butterfly.
Well, we have 3 swimmers from Loughborough, 2 from Bristol, and the reason that they're in the B final is that the A final is always reserved for Scottish swimmers. So the next set of swims, the next 10 fastest times after the first 10 Scots, they go into the B final wherever they come from. A second chance to swim personal best. Adam Fall in the heats went 55.95.
Yeah, Adam Fall in there first, 55.95. You'd expect him to set the early pace. Actually looked quite good in this morning's heats. And as expected, half a body length up. But he's getting pushed quite hard there. Bartek Karpis from Bristol, the 20-year-old, only half a second in it from the heat times. Who spots this 50? Yeah, Adam 25.82, 18/100s ahead of Bartek there.
So Adam, great underwater, good breakout, but coming back with every stroke. Bartek Karpis of Bristol powering in. Now watch up there in lane 2, David Masters of Loughborough, just coming through in the final. But you can see there, it's all about the judgment of the finish. Who's on stroke? You can see that neither were really perfect. They had to leave their arms in front and drift into the pad. That affects the time, but because 2 of them did it, it really didn't affect the finish positions. A 56.04 went 55.9 and a lot easier. Adam Fall first with 56.04. Karpits in that tight finish 56.35, and it was Rennick who came in on 57.04 for third.
Yeah, I just wonder if Adam just tried a little too hard in that second 50. Obviously was out quite fast, 25 point. Neither of these swimmers spotting that finish. 1100 slower than the heat, and that will be why. Yeah, get a better view of this finish here. You can see Adam was ahead all the way. Bartek actually made up some time there, but well, both drifting in horribly in that
last meter. The next event up is the A final. Bennett versus Bowman and Schranek. And the athletes are coming now. Let's go get them.
Please welcome the finalists for event 401, the men's 100 metres butterfly A final. In lane 4, representing the University of Stirling, Ryan Bennett. In lane 5, representing Carnegie, Craig Bowman. In lane 3, representing Warrender, Sean Campsey. In lane 6, representing Carnegie, Mark Sharanek. In lane 2, representing the University of Stirling, Cameron Brodie. In lane 7, representing City of Glasgow, Daniel Scott. In lane 1, representing Perth City, Eamon Rivers. In lane 8, representing the City of Aberdeen, Ewan Dunbar. In lane 0, representing Aberdeen, Suleiman Butt. In lane 9, representing Fife Performance, Greg Watson. Ladies and gentlemen, the finalists for event 401, the men's 100 metres butterfly A final.
Well, the men's A final looking at 53.09 as the qualifying time for nomination. Ryan Bennett in lane 4, 54.94 from the heats. Next door, Sean Campsey and Craig Bowman, the real threats. Mark Schranek of Carnegie, not on fire as he was last year. Cameron Brodie did well in the 50. Can he come back with a surprise in the 100? A final.
Well, we'd expect Ryan Bennett to show well in the first 15 metres. Really good underwater swimmer, Ryan Bennett, and as expected, comes out first. But have a look at lane 2, Cameron Brodie. I think he was taking it easy in the heats. Winner of the 200 fly, of course, and a good 50, so he's going to have a strong second 50.
Well, all the specialists going for the wall at the same time. Just off the pace is Sean Campsey in lane 3 in the red hat. Good turn again by Bennett. Look at the... What a breakout. What an advantage. Half a body.
Yeah, that's the benefit of having a great underwater fly kick. Bennett has torn the field apart, really, in that last 15 metre underwater. But Brodie is still hanging in there. The last 15 metres going to be crucial here, but it looks like Bennett might just hang on.
And here comes a challenge in lane 5. It's Craig Bowman at the end. He's got the momentum. He's got the last stroke. And just ticking underneath, Bowman does it. 53.84. It's 53.09 the qualifying time. That's gone this evening. No qualification time for nomination. But what a great finish. We've been talking about that on the 4 days, and that's a perfect example. Bowman with the gold, Brodie in lane 2 with the silver, and Ryan Bennett 54.10 for the bronze medal in 3rd place. So important, that finish, if you're all in a line. Making an early decision, getting the strokes right.
Well, 17-year-old Craig Bowman, we must stress that. Fantastic last 10 metres. Winding it up, spotting the finish, anticipating, shorten that a second from last stroke so he can finish on the wall. Brilliant.
Yeah, you saw Ryan Bennett there just tiring, and sometimes if you're not really in top condition when you do the underwater, it does pay a cost at the end of the swim. But it was the faster momentum to the wall and the good judgment and adjustment that took it for Bowman. What a final. Here's the thoughts of the winner then, with Amy in an interview after that 100 butterfly.
The gold medalist of the men's 100 fly, Craig Bowman. How do you feel about your performance there?
I was completely over the moon. I wasn't expecting to go so fast, so just extremely happy.
So it's such a close finish right there at the end. Are you aware of the guys around you when it's that close?
Slightly, but you can't really see to the side, so you just need to make sure you keep your stroke together and keep your head down towards the end.
Well, you certainly did that. Congratulations, everybody. Let's have a massive round of applause for our gold medalist.
Well, that's a good comment, and we have a look at this very important part of the race. Craig Bowman was going fast. He's aware of where he is with Bennett, but what he's looking at is the pad, making a short adjustment on that second last stroke, and then finishing with that lunge for the wall, maximum stretch. And that was the difference between gold and silver in our view. So that final out of the way, we move and look forward to the women's 100 freestyle. Again, we'll have 3 finals. We have the multi-classification, and here are your athletes for that event.
In lane 4, representing Perth City, Regan Doig. In lane 5, representing North Lanarkshire, Amy McFarlane. In lane 3, representing Stirling Swim, Hope Gordon. In lane 6, representing Ren 96, April McKee. In lane 2, representing Best, Beth Johnston. In lane 7, representing West Lothian, Laura Pilkington. Ladies and gentlemen, the finalists for the women's 100 meters freestyle multi-classification.
So the multi-classification athletes in position. It's 100 freestyle. Summer in lane 4. Regan Doig has had such a successful and busy meet. In here we have 3 S14s in 4, 5 and 6. An S7 with Laura Pilkington in lane 7. An S10 category in lane 2. Beth Johnson in lane 2, 12 years of age. Regan Doig, 107.52 in the centre lane. 100 freestyle. So it's 100 freestyle. Don't forget Laura Pilkington, and I hope the crowd doesn't forget her, as the multi-class athletes headed out by Regan Doig. She's going on a 107.52 from the heats, looking to improve that time.
Yeah, Regan's been busy, not just in the multi-classification, but she's had a few relay swims as well with the other athletes, so she'll be well practiced in this 100 free. Looking good at the moment.
Oh, very deep on the turn, popped up. Once she gets into that stroke position, though, it's power all the way.
Yeah, heat time 107.5, so out in 31 points. So we're looking a strong second 50, could get under that, no problem.
Well, it's another swim and another swim for Regan Doig. Battling for second place across the pool, Hope Gordon and Amy McFarlane. Similarly for April and Beth. And Laura Pilkington, as she has been during the meet, on her own. So 106.4, it's a 107.5. And 114s and 115s. Good improvement from the two swimmers. 18 and 20 for the next pair that finish. Just improving. Beth Johnson, 122 in the heats. Now, Laura Pilkington, a little bit of cheering and a little bit of support would go. That's it. That's what we want. Give her a hand. Get her in there. Last 5 metres. 149.41 in the heats. Great leg kick, constant action, good enough fitness to put the head down in the last. It's a 150.1, just a little bit slower, but it's been such a long, hard week for all those athletes. They've done as much as anyone, and it just pays in the last swim with a few times slower in the final than in the heats. But it is the final, 106.4, 114.5 and 115.5 are the 1, 2 and 3. Regan, Hope and Amy McFarlane. So now the points get calculated and we'll see who wins the medals a little bit later in the meet. Beth Johnson gets a new record for the S10 category. The B final are ready, and Kimberly Boyce in the centre of the pool, lane 4, the team from Belgium. And here are the athletes for the B final, including Edinburgh, Ulster, Viams, Coast and Carnegie. This is the precursor, of course, to the A final with the battle to see if Caitlin McClatchy could perhaps snick a time for the 100. She just missed on the 200.
Please welcome the finalists for event 402, the women's 100 meters freestyle B final. In lane 4, representing Belgium, Kimberly Boyce. In lane 5, representing Belgium, Jolien Sismans. In lane 3, representing Edinburgh University, Sean Morgan. In lane 6, representing first, Rebecca Murray. In lane 2, representing University of Stirling, Lauren Averill. In lane 7, representing City of Aberdeen, Caitlin Tootle. In lane 1, representing Swim Ulster, Mary-Kate McDowell. In lane 8, representing Carnegie, Kirsty Simpson. In lane 0, representing Tigers from Jersey, Emily Bashford. Ladies and gentlemen, those are the finalists for the women's 100 meters freestyle B final.
Kimberly Boyce from Viams in the city of Antwerp, the 25-year-old European medalist, is in lane 4. Her teammate Sismans in 5, also a sprinter. In here we have Lauren Averill of the University of Stirling and Rebecca Murray up against the might of Belgium, Sian Morgan in 3 for Edinburgh University. 100 freestyle B final. 57 point was the fastest time from the heats in this B final.
Yeah, Kimberly Boyce impressing the 50 fly earlier on this week with her pace and her power. It looks like she's doing the same here, imposing an early lead, although Lauren Averill up in lane 2 has got some good early pace. But it looks like it's Kimberly Boyce down this first 50.
So Kimberly Boyce and Jolien Sisman, the Belgian freestylers, watch the skill off the wall, long into the stroke. Not too long, but just getting back into that power position. You can see the first 6 to 10 strokes very much stronger and quicker, just getting rid of any opposition who decided to come back. But now in the last 15, she's going to have a challenge from lane 3, Sian Morgan of Edinburgh University. Boyce not having it all her own way. They're tired after a terrific training camp, and it's a real good finish. We'll see now the skills of that finish. And then Morgan, 56.75 by 1/100th of a second. She snicks the B final. Well, if finishes were not important before, there's another lesson for you from these Scottish Championships on how to finish. So times confirmed: Morgan 56.75, Boyce 56.76, Sisman's 56.78. Very tight at the finish, and it is that skill that makes the difference.
Yeah, Sian Morgan looked out of it 75, but she just got her head down from about 7 or 8 metres out. You can see she's not breathed for the last 8 strokes there, and that absolutely made the difference. 1/100th between her and Boyce. Yeah, she's a good half body length back there. Boyce looked like to have it tied up, but straight, well, blanket finish. Morgan takes
Simmers for the A final now appearing.
The University of Stirling, Sean Harkin. In lane 3, representing Carnegie, Rachel O'Donnell. In lane 6, representing the University of Stirling, Eloise Barber. In lane 2, representing Best, Lucy Hope. In lane 7, representing South Aberdeenshire, Rachel Masson. In lane 1, representing Warrender, Katie Stark. In lane 8, representing South Aberdeenshire, Jessica Christie. In lane 0, representing Carnegie, Samantha Caulfield. In lane 9, representing East Lothian, Raquel Matos.
Well, the question is Caitlin McClatchy going for the time, 55.53. She is the Scottish record holder at 54.31. However, the 56.23 from the heats doesn't suggest that 55.53 will be the outcome, but you never know. She has such a talent. Rachel O'Donnell's had a great meet here, the 17-year-old from Carnegie in 3. Sian Harkin won the 50 in a qualifying time. And that's the battle. Harkin looked very good in the heats.
Yeah, interesting matchup. We've got Caitlin McClatchy's 200 strength against Harkin's speed. So watch for Harkin in lane 5 in the first 50, but it's all about McClatchy in that second 50. See a beautiful stroke there from Caitlin McClatchy. So controlled, such a strong leg kick, but Harkin's got it her way at the moment.
You see Harkin with that straight arm action, both turning just behind each other, and it's Caitlin McClatchy out, but she doesn't look to have the same sort of speed as Harkin. Harkin is on top, on fire this meet. 25 to go. She's holding the lead. Now comes McClatchy. It's 15 metres to go. McClatchy coming hard. She's working very, very hard. Harkin's holding her off. It's stroke for stroke. It's looking like a tight finish, but Harkin's got it sewn up. 2 strokes to go. In fact, slowing down at the end. 56.06. First place, gold medal, but not the 55.53 time. Another title then to Shan Harkin. Very tight, but 800s is a long way in 100.
Yeah, courageous swim there from Shan.
So gold to Harkin, McClatchy with the silver, Masson on 57.03 took a bronze. That's how much it took out of her, isn't it? Absolute commitment. And yet at the end, there was that drifting finish. Maybe
yeah, she knew she had to go for it from the start. She had the speed to take McClatchy, and she just had to hang on. Very courageous from Harkin. She's coming back in an ambulance in the last five metres there, but arms really slowing down, but managed to spot the finish just ahead.
She did. Although she slowed down, what she did was she rotated the body just to get that extra few centimetres. Watch this, rotating on the side, round that big white bottom and into the pad. So remember, there's a process for adding up the fastest 4 times, adding a little bit in for the start and the takeovers, and if that meets the qualifying time, there'll be a 4x100 freestyle relay. That's what they were also swimming for. Not just the title, not just the qualifying time, but the relay place. So maybe we'll get a word if Shan is recovered. She looked absolutely out there on the lane rope. So let's hear the thoughts of Shan.
Shan Harkin, congratulations. That's your 3rd gold here. How do you feel about that swim?
I'm really surprised by that. I don't know how I won that. Didn't feel that good, but no, I'm really happy.
So you obviously won the 50 free. How does the 100 differ to that? What in tactics, what way does it differ?
Don't max the first length, basically. Try and hold back a bit on the first 50, and then come back as hard as you can.
Well, that was certainly an exciting race, Shan. Congratulations, everybody. Let's have a huge round of applause for Shan Harkin.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that she doesn't have much thoughts to gather together after that effort. She's had very fast swims in the whole meet. She's done the job in the 50. And there in the 100, it was just a matter of hanging on as McClatchy came another metre or so. It might have been a different result. As we see the presentation for the multi-class 100 freestyle event. So the silver medal going to Stefan Hogan. And there's McFarlane. And then this is the silver medal going to Mr. Hogan. Stefan Nerov. And James Clegg, of course, taking the gold medal in his class. Clegg takes it. Another gold medal to the collection. Good. Now you missed the Oliver Carter S10, 356. 669 points for the silver and 751 points when you compare the time to the points tables. Plenty of seats in the crowd as they await the next presentation. And this is, of course, in the 100 butterfly, the men's A final. Craig Bowman in that exciting finish against Ryan Bennett. And let's look forward to that.
The medalists for the men's 100 meters butterfly. The bronze medalist representing the University of Stirling, Ryan Bennett. The silver medalist representing the University of Stirling, Cameron Brodie. Kerry Buchan picking up the medal on behalf of Cameron Brodie. The gold medalist and Scottish Gas national champion 2014, representing Carnegie, Craig Bowman. The Scottish Gas junior champion for 2014, representing the Borders Elite Swim Team, Ryan Brown. Ladies and gentlemen, your medalists for the men's 100 meters butterfly.
I just can't help giggling there as the young 17-year-old absolutely overwhelmed with his victory, and he couldn't touch Kerry there in case she broke. Kerry Buchan there taking the medal for Cameron Brodie. So, good swims in the 100 fly. Surprise victory to Bowman, perhaps. Not quite as fast as we hoped, but what a great swim and a great race. The next event on the programme is the men's 200 freestyle. But we have a little presentation for the 100 freestyle to come before it. Just letting you think about what the 200 freestyle might look at.
The bronze medalist representing North Lanarkshire, Amy McFarlane. The silver medalist representing Stirling Swim, Hope Gordon. The gold medalist and Scottish Gas national champion 2014, representing Perth City, Regan Doig. The disability points for the swimmers are displayed on the scoreboard.
The points were calculated. Dana McFarlane went up to 522 on her swim in S14. Hope Gordon in S9 went 551, so it was close for silver to bronze. But Reagan Doig at 767 is a clear winner in the S14 category, but the points compare the swims from the different categories. The next presentation is for that exciting A final with McClatchy and Harkin, O'Donnell, Barber, Hope in the field, and that super finish by Shan Harkin to take another gold medal here from the championship. So the next presentation is the A final, women's 100 freestyle.
Please welcome the medalists for the women's 100 meters freestyle. The bronze medalist, representing South Aberdeenshire, Rachel Masson. The silver medalist, representing Edinburgh University, Caitlin McClatchy. And the gold medalist and Scottish Gas national champion for 2014, representing the University of Stirling, Shan Harkin. The Scottish Gas junior champion for 2014, representing Warrender, Katie Stark. Ladies and gentlemen, your medalists for the women's 100 meters freestyle. And many thanks to Mark Bennett and Lee Jones from Glasgow Warriors and Scotland Sevens rugby team for those presentations.
Next up then is the men's 200 meters freestyle. It's the multi-classification swim again. Leads us on to the B final and then on to the A final. The 200 freestyle, very interesting, very difficult event. That blend of speed, little bit of endurance, but it's a lot of psychological control. Here are the athletes for that final.
Representing Warrender, Scott Quinn. In lane 3, representing North Lanarkshire, Adam Melville. In lane 6, representing Larne, James Hamilton. In lane 2, representing Highland, Craig McLean. In lane 7, representing Geary, Connor Morrison. In lane 1, representing Highland, Lachlan Macbeth. Ladies and gentlemen, your finalists for the men's 200 meters freestyle multi-classification.
Well, this is a very interesting event, the 200 freestyle multi-classification. They're all in S14, so it's like an actual final, everybody in the same category. So it'll be 1, 2 and 3 will get the gold, silver, bronze. The classification qualifying time, because this event is in the Commonwealth Games, it's 2:07.52, and Craig Rudgy and Scott Quinn really have a chance at this. But we've already seen the difficulty of improving on the heat time as it becomes one of the final events in the programme. The load of the 4 days. That's what you've got to shrug off and really go for it. Craig Rodgie in 4, Scott Quinn in 5. Let's see how they go against a 2:07.52 qualifying time.
Yeah, Craig Rodgie looked great in this morning's heats. Just has to watch he doesn't go out too fast tonight. He looked quite excited in the block there. That's 28.44, so roughly the same type of speed as this morning's heat. The rest of the field just blanket across the pool at the moment. Scott Quinn, obviously second fastest qualifier. Again, had a really good meet with a good breaststroke yesterday. Scott looking strong in second place.
So the 200 freestyle, it's about controlling that first 50, making sure that you get a really good split time. Now, this is where it hurts, and this is where it can be won. He's really putting the effort in the third. Let's hope there's something left at the end. He's really working. You can see the stroke shortening up a little bit. Not the same length of arm recovery out in front, but a brave swim at this stage. Clearly into second place. Scott Quinn of Warner at 23. He's really trying to hold up there, keep up with the race. Turning in 1:31.5.
Yeah, 1:31, so that was a 31 high there in the third 50s. He's clearly made a conscious effort to pick up the pace. Hopefully can hang on towards the end. He's just shortened his stroke ever so slightly. Kick maybe dropping off a little bit. Come on, Craig, let's finish hard.
15 metres to go. Craig Rodgie looking at 2:07.52. He's got to be in on that. A lot of encouragement would help, but nothing from the audience. 2:03.05. That's a Scottish record and a qualifying time for the Games. Second time 2:11.18. Absolutely. Qualifying time for nomination. 2:19 for Morrison. That's a faster time, much faster time. It's a really good swim. And back there with 15 to go, don't forget Lachlan Macbeth, 20-year-old from the Highland, struggling against his own 2:52.66. The clock's still ticking. Let's get in Lachlan Macbeth. 2:45, good job. Oh, one of the swims of the evening. Craig Rodgie, 2:03.05, a Scottish record in the S14 category. Qualifying time. Rodgie with that pedigree behind him. Quinn in second place for the silver, 2:11.18, and Morrison on 2:19.32.
Well, for those watching who've done a 200 free will know how much Craig was hurting here in this last 10 metres. Did shorten up, but very courageous swim. Out fast, held in that third 50, and a good strong finish.
Summers for the B final in the same event.
In lane 4, representing Edinburgh University, Matthew Parks. In lane 5, representing Belgium, Glenn Surgelos. In lane 3, representing the University of Stirling, Joshua Walsh. In lane 6, representing City of Aberdeen, Felix Gifford. In lane 2, representing Belgium, Peter Timmers. In lane 7, representing City of Aberdeen, Stuart McIntosh. In lane 1, representing Loughborough, Oliver Bitoff. In lane 8, representing City of Glasgow, Alistair Sterling. In lane 0, representing South Lanarkshire, Angus Barr.
B final, 200 freestyle, 1:52.7 out to 1:56 in the outside lanes. That's the spread in the field. It's not much. It's another chance to swim it. You've had the feedback from your coach, you've had the rest, you've had something to eat, and here you are in the B final in this wonderful environment. Great support from the crowd. You've got to go well. Matthew Parks, 20-year-old, Edinburgh University. the main man in 4, but up against some tough swimmers there. In 2 and 5 are the tough Belgians, Surgelus and Timmers. Part of a Belgian quartet that took medals in the last 2 European, short course and long course. They come off a heavy training camp, but they're always great racers. So good company in the B final.
Yeah, a couple of good British swimmers in here as well. Josh Walsh in number 3. He's been a regular fixture in the GB 4x2 teams over the last couple of years. So watch out for him. Obviously, a non-Scottish University of Stirling swimmer.
You see that beautiful stroking of Glenn Surgelus in 5. Nice tempo in the previous finals. He has had a load of swims and the travel and the training camp in Tenerife. Tremendous European junior, 53.178 on the way through.
Yeah, it's just that power he seems to generate that just lets him skim across the water. The other swimmers perhaps just a little bit sunken, whereas Surgelus seems to, with that strong 6-beat kick, float through at the front there.
Well, here comes Walsh now on the third 50. Surgelus's early speed making them work. Surgelus will tie up. He is a tired swimmer, so it could be Walsh versus Parks in the last 50. Surgelus, nice turn and break out. Timmers out of the race at the moment over there in lane 2. Here comes Walsh on the final charge, 25 to go.
Yeah, Josh is finishing really strong. He'll be rested for this, unlike Surgelus, so we have that little extra kick in the last 50. It looks like that's working for him now. Walsh needs to spot this wall. Ellen, last 5 metres. Well, Surgelus is still pushing.
Walsh in 150.77. Just made it under Surgelus as he came with a last surge and a very good finish. So again, visually, it looks as if it's an easy finish, but not on the time. 50.77, 150.99 to Surgelus. Matthew Parks held off Timmers with 151.58.
Yeah, it was a nicely judged swim there from Josh. Obviously out a little bit slower than Surgelus, and Surgelus, like Drew said, his training cycle doesn't lend itself to a back half. He'll be a tired swimmer, and Josh just pipped a nice stretch in the back on the last stroke there.
So that's how to do it. 152. And we now look forward to the A finalist athletes.
For the men's 200 metres freestyle A final. In lane 4, representing City of Glasgow, Robbie Rennick. In lane 5, representing University of Stirling, Jack Scott. In lane 3, representing Warrender, Dan Wallace. In lane 6, representing Perth City, Stephen Milne. In lane 2, representing City of Glasgow, Andrew Donaldson. In lane 7, representing University of Stirling, Cameron Brodie. In lane 1, representing Warrender, Craig Hamilton. In lane 8, representing Edinburgh University, Cameron Smith. In lane 0, representing Aberdeen, Suleiman Butt. In lane 9, representing First, Duncan Scott. Ladies and gentlemen, the finalists for the A final of the men's 200 metres freestyle.
Well, it's about Rennick versus Wallace. Maybe Jack Scott will be in at the end. You never know what Stephen Milne will do, although he's had a very, very busy week. But Robbie Rennick, 25, 150.63. This maybe his best suited event. Just getting to the stage now where the 400 is, much harder. The 100 is just a bit too quick, but he has that wonderful stroke, which holds up over 200. The qualifying time 1:48.48. Important to note that the swimmers have to qualify on every event that they swim. It's not that they qualify in one event and then they'll be put into other events in the games. So he needs the qualifying time if he wants to swim in the 200.
Yeah, Robbie's got this ability to build through each of the 450s, so he's got a nice lead there, but expect him to try and just pull away from the rest of the field. A lovely long stroke, strong kick. Jack's trying to hang on to him. Obviously Jack a little bit more speed about him, so he's trying to capitalise in this first 100.
Jack Scott trying to hang on to the shoulder or the hips of Rennick. Also going well in stocking, Dan Wallace. The arrowhead starting to form as they head towards the 100. Going well in 6 is Stephen Milne, but the speed of Rennick and others are just taking Milne out a little bit. The distance man losing it. 52.34 on the way through.
Yeah, impressive first 100 split there. Rennick was doing 54 in the morning, I believe, so he's way ahead of his heat pace. Dan Wallace is making a move now, though. Dan Wallace up in lane 3. Obviously had a cracking meet so far. This is going to be a race down this last 50.
And there's no one who's been racing better than in the NC2A competition. Wallace looked as if he wanted that wall. Wallace against Rennick. Rennick going to put the pressure on and ask him to come and take him. Jack Scott well out of it. It's now down to Wallace and Rennick. Rennick looking strong. Wallace with that peculiar loping style. Remember, he's had a busy day with the 400 IMs. It looks like Rennick's all the way. Let's see what that time is. 1:48.48. We're looking at 1:47.6. His record of 1:45.99 stays safe, but getting down there must please him. 1:48.48, and at last you can see almost a relief on the face of Robbie Rennick. Through in 52, back for a 1:47. The gold, the qualifying time, the title. Dan Wallace 1:49 at the end, and Jack Scott just sitting on the 1:51.4 for the bronze.
Yeah, really, really impressive second 100 there from Robbie. I just thought Dan might push him on that after that third 50 coming up to turn, but Robbie, bags of experience, pulled away. Excellent swimming under the qualifying time. Yeah, look, you can just see there a perfect shot of Robbie's leg kick. Fantastic leg kick, and that allows him to stretch out the front of the stroke all the way through the swim. Keep his body nice and high and spot the finish.
Well, absolutely fantastic. Let's hear the thoughts of Robbie Rennick. And joining him is Craig Rodgie after his record-breaking and qualifying time swim in the same event, the 200 free. There with Amy in just a few seconds.
I'm here with Robbie and Craig, the winners of the men's 200 metre freestyle. Now, Robbie, we just seen you race there, win gold and under the nomination time for Team Scotland. How do you feel about your performance there?
Yeah, really happy to get the time under the 400 and the 200 there. So that's what I came in this week to do, to get those 2 times. They're the most important ones for me. So I'm happy I can chill out for a few days now and really just focus on the Commonwealth Games.
Perfect. Now, Craig, we've seen you set your nomination time not only in the final, but also this morning in the heats. What does it take to make sure that you're ready to swim fast in the morning?
Just good preparation, rest, and being focused to get going in the morning.
Thank you very much, guys. Everybody, let's have a huge cheer for Robbie and for Craig.
Well, nice to hear the thoughts of Craig, record breaker, and of course a relieved Robbie Rennick, and a couple of events now in the bag for the Commonwealth Games, and that looks good for the 4x2. Remember, there's always that relay calculation. Here is the next event, the B final.
In line 4, representing Swim Ulster, Gemma Kane. In lane 5, representing Heart of Midlothian, Kiana McInnes. In lane 3, representing Ren 96, Vari High. In lane 6, representing Royal Wolverhampton, Lilia Cross-Seaman. In lane 2, representing Warrender, Hannah Jurek. In lane 7, representing City of Aberdeen, Ailey Duthie. In lane 1, representing South Aberdeenshire, Megan Fell. In lane 8, representing South Lanarkshire, Nikki Miller. In lane 0, representing Warrender, Barry Swanson. In lane 9, representing South Lanarkshire, Bethany Brody. Ladies and gentlemen, the finalists of the women's 200 metres butterfly B final.
Metre butterfly B final. Gemma Kane in the centre, swimming for Ulster. The 15-year-old set a 2:19.7 from the heats. It's out to 2:33s at the outside, so not going to be a great race across the pool, but we might get something happening in the middle, although the times don't suggest that, with a 19 and next was a 27 and a 28. Tough event, good pacing required.
Well, lane 5 here, what an experience for the 12-year-old Kiana McInnes. Second into this B final. 8 seconds between herself and the swim Ulster girl Gemma Kane, but let's hope Kiana can make a good show of it as well. Looks like the early pace is set by Gemma Kane from swim Ulster. Lane 5, Kiana, what a nice little rhythm she's got there. Not much leg kick, but she's using her arms really effectively.
Yeah. Normally we would expect some coordination between legs and arms. A nice breakout into the stroke there by Gemma, 15-year-old. Really looking very, very good. And you can see that the rest of the field trail in her wake as she goes down the second 50. Kiana McInnes just losing it a little bit in this first 100. But the heavier and more powerful girls who might take it out quickly in the 100 might just struggle at the end. And that would allow Kiana to come back through as she holds a rhythm all the way through. 65.68, went 2:19. So hopefully in the B final, she can get under that. Just look at the rhythm there. Breath, breath, breath. Then the head down. And then there's a mixture. So it's a kind of dislocated pattern. It's not a regular pattern. As she goes to the third wall. In second place, in lane 6, Kirsty Armstrong. In 5. So Kiana just behind in 4th. Will she have anything left in the last? In 6, Cross-Seaman. And across there in 3, Vari High. But it's all about Gemma Kane in the B final, taking an opportunity to have a strong swim.
Yeah, good disciplined performance here by Gemma Kane. Good off the walls, long underwater. Let's see if she can spot this finish, and I think she has. 1 second off again her heat swim, so excellent swim there from Gemma.
24. And the news is just coming through that she makes the Ulster qualification time, so she takes that back, and this is a designated meet for Gemma, so that's good success. Winning the B final and taking the qualifying time home, 2:18.09. 2:24.76 was second place to Cross-Seaman, and Vari High 2:25.83, the third place in that 200 fly final.
Yep, like I say, very disciplined throughout, very strong at the front of her stroke. Didn't have a huge leg kick throughout, but she seemed to be able to pull herself through the water and spot the finish right at the end.
So a very tough event. Gemma Kane with a double swim in the day just manages to hold on. Some young swimmers in there getting great experience in the B final. And of course now we come to the A final, and Hannah Miley against the youngster Tane Bruce. Fiona Donnelly, the Anglo-Scot, representing Warrender, in again against Hannah in this 200 fly. 2:11.81 is the qualifying time. Not sure if Hannah will have a go for it. We'll see in a few moments as we welcome the athletes.
Please welcome the finalists for event 404, the A final of the women's 200 metres butterfly. In lane 4, representing Geary, Hannah Miley. In lane 5, representing Carnegie, Tane Bruce. In lane 3, representing Warrender, Fiona Donnelly. In lane 6, representing Best, Kirsty Armstrong. In lane 2, representing Warrender, Rebecca Smith. In lane 7, representing Lincoln Vulcans, Tara Hayward. In lane 1, representing Dumfries, Eve White. In lane 8, representing West Lothian, Ashley McAdam. In lane 0, representing Milngavie and Bearsden, Megan Donnelly. In lane 9, representing North Ayrshire, Jennifer King. Ladies and gentlemen, the finalists for the A final of the women's 200 metres butterfly.
Well, not much expected from the women's 200 butterfly, I have to say, from the inside of the Scottish camp. The 2:11.81, which they had to set, is a very tough time. Hannah, the Scottish record holder, on 2:08. Might go that fast. You never know, but she's always a great racer. If she does decide to go for it totally, then she might pull in Fiona Donnelly and Tane Bruce. But no high hopes for the 200 butterfly at 2:11. But it's the A final and it's the national championships.
Yeah,
so medals at stake, sorry.
Fiona and Tane, an opportunity here to have a go at one of the world's best in Hannah Miley. I'm sure they'll relish that. So Tane really impressed in the heats with her flat rhythmical stroke. Hopefully she can get out there nice and easy again. Looks like Fiona that's taken the early lead at 50. Up in lane 3.
Tane Bruce going long underwater, not making much advantage, even although Hannah had put in a couple of strokes. Fiona Donnelly taking the opportunity, the Warrender swimmer, the Anglo-Scot, just having a go at taking it out and maybe making Hannah work pretty hard. Now it's 2:19 from the heats for Fiona. Obviously saved a lot for the final, and they both hit in 64 point.
Yeah, I'm liking Fiona's stroke there. It's nice regular breathing pattern. You can see she's getting plenty of power in her stroke when she puts her head down. A little bit more length in her stroke every time she doesn't lift her head to breathe. So let's hope she can keep that breathing pattern going throughout.
And these three swimmers at the front are far too tough for the rest of the field. They've drifted well back in the arrowhead formation. A good little battle in 6 and 7 between Kirsty and Tara. But Hannah leading to the wall. And remember, her fitness and conditioning and also her competitive spirit. She does go long underwater this time. Takes another 2 metres off Donnelly. Tane Bruce trying to come back. Clear bronze medal. Fiona Donnelly holding the same stroke all the way through. But unfortunately, she sees Hannah Miley stretching away as Hannah starts to pick up the stroke rate, just showing that she has that tempo and the ability to change. She gets into 5, 3 strokes and she's in, and another spot finish, and it's another one to take up to the northeast, another gold medal, 2:12.66. Remember, 2:11.81 was the qualifying time. It's good racing, and it's showing respect for Fiona Donnelly and Tane Bruce. for Hannah to go that fast. The final result then, as the event finishes, Hannah Miley with the gold in 2:12.6. Tane Bruce with the silver, 16:06, and a very tight finish for second. Donnelly with the bronze to 16:36.
Yeah, Hannah's fitness there, just too much for Tane and Fiona in the end. You can see the last 3 strokes of Hannah without a breath under the flags, and again, just all those little skills telling in the end. Beautiful finish there. But good job from Tane and Fiona both. Just in a scrap for second at the end.
Yeah, that stroke technique doesn't change, and then when she saw there might be a challenge from Fiona in the last 50, she just increased it very slightly, picked up the stroke rate and held it into the pad. Clever swimming. So we're going to get the post-race interview in a few seconds. Hannah with our Amy.
Congratulations, Hannah. That's another gold medal here for you at these championships. How do you feel about your race there?
I felt really strong and solid. I was really happy with that. Again, it was just outside the qualifying time, so a little bit gutted about that. But I've got another chance at it at the British next week. So yeah, I've just got 50-metre breaststroke to go, so it's awesome finishing on just a 50.
Well, of course, as you say that, we won't keep you long. One quick last question. So we've been talking about your training a little bit in our interviews here with your dad, of course, who's your coach. How big a part are the rest of your family in your support of your swimming?
Oh, they're huge. My 2 younger brothers both swim, and they've actually both got finals for the 400 IM, so big up the Mileys. And they're just wonderful to be able to train with. They really do push me, work on my strengths and my weaknesses. And my mum, is a huge factor that keeps us all sane. She definitely keeps us very grounded. But I wouldn't be where I am today without them. So it's all down to my family that I'm here where I am today.
Well, that's lovely to hear, Hannah. I will let you get off for your 50 breaststroke final. Everybody, huge cheer for Hannah Miley.
So here is the ceremony, and you're looking at the 200 freestyler.
The presenter is David Carey, Board of Directors for Scottish Swimming. The bronze medalist, representing Geary, Conor Morrison. The silver medalist, representing Warrender, Scott Quinn. And the gold medalist and Scottish Gas national champion for 2014, representing Edinburgh University in a new Scottish record time, Craig Rodgie.
Conor Morrison in the bronze went 614 points with his swim. Scott Quinn up to 736 for the silver. But Craig Rodgie's Scottish record, 891 points. And therefore the gold. And while we're at the National Championships, next presentation. That was the multi-class for the 200 freestyle. And we have the A finalists, and of course that wonderful swim We thought it was going to be closer, but Robbie Rennick really stamped his class all over that final. Back to a very good 147. Here they are.
Please welcome the medalists for the men's 200 meters freestyle. The bronze medalist, representing University of Stirling, Jack Scott. The silver medalist, representing Warrender, Dan Wallace. Scott Quinn collecting the medal for Dan Wallace. And the gold medalist and Scottish Gas national champion for 2014, representing the city of Glasgow, Robbie Rennick. The Scottish Gas Junior Champion for 2014, representing South Lanarkshire, Angus Barr. There is a special trophy to be awarded in this medal ceremony. The Eileen Adams Trophy is a combination of the best swims in the men's 400 and 200 metres freestyle. Eileen Adams was a coach, famously coached David Carey, who is presenting this. It's very fitting that David Carey is presenting this, and of course Robbie Rennick. They are both Commonwealth champions. They were both coached by Eileen Adams in the past. And the winner of the Eileen Adams Trophy this year is Robbie Rennick.
The Eileen Adams Trophy held by Robbie Rennick, very special. And it's a special little connection here. It's almost karmic. David Carey in his early days was coached by Eileen Adams. Robbie Rennick later on was coached by Eileen Adams. When Eileen moved to Glasgow, Eileen sadly died of cancer. A long-time friend of mine in the world of coaching at that time in Scottish swimming. David Carey was in a national youth squad that I was head coach to. Eileen was the coach, and of course on all the Scottish meets we met often. Wonderful coach, committed to her swimmers, and of course produced 2 Commonwealth champions in her day. A lovely moment. The next ceremony will be 200 meters butterfly. This is the main A final and the medal presentation.
Please welcome the medalists for the women's 200 meters butterfly. Presenter is Grace Reid, Scottish diver and Commonwealth Games nominee. The bronze medalist, representing Warrender, Fiona Donnelly. The silver medalist, representing Carnegie, Tane Bruce. The gold medalist and Scottish Gas national champion for 2014, representing Geary, Hannah Miley. the Scottish Gas Junior Champion from Carnegie, Tane Bruce. Ladies and gentlemen, your medalist for the women's 200 meters butterfly.
Thought it was very interesting, Rob, that Hannah says she's going to have a go at the 200 fly in the British Championships next week.
Yeah.
Sorry, we've got to go for the next introduction of the B final in the men's 50 backstroke.
The B final of the men's 50 meters backstroke. In lane 9, representing South Ayrshire, Kieran Brand. In lane 8, representing Loughborough, Callum Barrett. In lane 7, representing Swim Ulster, Conor Ferguson. In lane 6, representing Loughborough, Caelan Veal. In lane 5, representing Swim Ulster, Jordan Sloan. In lane 4, representing Loughborough, Daniel Stepton. In lane 3, representing Tigers, Tom Gallichan. In lane 2, representing Aberdeen, Suleiman Butt. In lane 1, representing Milngavie and Bearsden, Greg Watson. In lane 0, representing Dumfries, Alistair Campbell. Ladies and gentlemen, the finalists for the B final of the men's 50 metres backstroke.
The B final in the backstroke. Remember, it's all about the quality of the start, the break into the stroke, and the judgment of the finish. The bit in the middle, it's power, effort, drive, competition all the way. So very short, 26, 27 seconds, B final.
Well, Daniel Stepton going nice and deep in his start there. 12, 13 metres up and he's up and running, but it's actually lane 5 that takes the lead off the start. It's Jordan Sloan from Swim Ulster. He's got the highest rate, most power at the moment, through 25, half a body length up.
Stepton in that very bright pink cap. He just can't get on the shoulder of Sloan. He's going to make it. Now let's just see this finish. Oh, it's all about, you know, mixed up. Short, long, fast, slow. Well, 26.65 to Jordan Sloan. What a finish. You know, that's got to be a smooth, even though you're travelling fast and turning over. 26.65, 26.85 to Gallichan. Stepton, 26.85, equaling for second place in the 50 B-stroke final.
Yeah, Jordan obviously rating really high all through that 50, so probably felt a little bit unnatural to shorten or lengthen that stroke there. Just needed to stretch there, but took an extra stroke.
In lane 9, representing first, Gregor Birrell.
50 backstroke, A final. In 9, it's Gregor Birrell from first, the 19-year-old. In lane 8 is Ross McCafferty, City of Glasgow, 21-year-old. In lane 7, Graham Lyons, West Dumbarton, producer of fast 50 backstrokers, 26.81. 6 is Craig McNally of Warrender. Rory Lamont of West Dumbarton. There you are. In lane 4, Andrew McGovern, who's swimming so well. Jack Ness from City of Aberdeen next door. A little club help there. Kieran McGuckin, 23-year Edinburgh University in 2. Lane 1, we'll see Warrender's Ryan Archibald, 21-year-old. And in lane 0, it's Callum Shaw, 22-year-old Edinburgh University. McGovern had a beautiful heat on 26.2. The qualifying time for the Games nomination is 25.97. And the Scottish record's at 25.92, but half a second, even 500s in a 50 back is a major gap. Rory Lamont, the specialist, and the one who's been identified. The national record holder is Craig McNally on 25.92, but a little out of shape in terms of just getting the right kind of finish. McNally still to come through and qualify. This could be tight. They're off.
Yeah, this one is wide open, I think. Expect McGuckin in lane 2 to go up fast in the first 25, but it's actually, well, it's Lamont with the 25 speed. McGovern's got to come back there, both. Nothing in it. Nothing in it, 35, 15 to go.
This is a typical 50 backstroke finish. 5, 6 swimmers in a line. Now this is all about the finish under the flags. Who goes for it? And in lane 3, Jack Ness, 26.08. Wonderful finish from Ness. He was out of it at the start. McGovern and Lamont had the better of the underwater, but Ness gets the finish, and that's the most important thing. Gold 26.08, silver to McGovern 26.13, and 2 100s to bronze and Rory Lamont. McNally out of it again.
Yeah, that was impossible to split all the way through the 50 there. Let's wait for the replay. And it was Jack Ness, just right at the end, the 17-year-old. Look at that, flurry of arms, and it was ultimately the one that stretched best that got it.
Yeah, 3 long strokes in the 5 metre mark. You can see how they're preparing under the flags. And then you can see, there he is, Ness, just not going to catch his finish. But great start. And here's the interview with Jack Ness.
That was so close at the finish. How do you feel about your race there?
Pretty buzzing. I wasn't expecting to win, if I'm honest. But yeah, I'm really chuffed.
So coming into that final, 0.6 of a second separated to top 6 guys. What can you do in that situation to ensure you're the person, as you did, to touch the wall first?
Just have really good preparation. Like, I know I've done the training earlier on, so just got to get buzzing before the race and try and just go as fast as I can.
Well, congratulations, Jack. Fabulous job. Everybody, let's have a huge cheer for Jack Ness.
So the backstroke sprinters. Here's the women's 50 metres breaststroke B finalists.
Representing South Lanarkshire, Katie McIntyre. In lane 8, representing Warrender, Kimberly Mackay. In lane 7, representing Edinburgh University, Olivia White. In lane 6, representing the Isle of Man, Niamh Robinson. In lane 5, representing Swim Ulster, Gemma Kane. In lane 4, representing Belgium, Jolien Siesmans. In lane 3, representing Carnegie, Samantha Caulfield. In lane 2, representing East Lothian, Emma Crawford. In lane 1, representing Geary, Orla Adams. In lane 0, representing South Lanarkshire, Rosie Wynn. Ladies and gentlemen, the women's 50 metres breaststroke B final.
The B final for the women's 50 breaststroke. Now watch out for taking the glide off the dive and striking at the right time. Good link into the stroke. And then the second problem for the swimmers is to make the finish as good as the butterflyers, because they're facing the pad. They've got to make the adjustment and finish on the end of that kick and stretch.
Well,
So
like all
off
our
we
other
go. Jolene
counterparts, our
Sismans,
teammates should expect
33.01 in the
lane
heat.
fours,
She should be the favourite.
Jolene Sismans to have that power in her stroke, and it seems like she has. Good first 25 from Jolene there. The rest of the field just a little bit behind, but this good direct stroke there from lane 5. Gemma Kane from Sim Ulster. So it looks to be between Sismans and Kane here.
Yes, Jolene Sismans just taking over at 10 metres. Now driving for the wall, but look at the speed in lane 5. Gemma Kane. Sismans must have just nicked that 33.57. I would have put it closer than 33.77. Sismans then 33.59 to Kane's 33.77. The third spot picked up by Robinson in 34.06.
Yeah, I think if we look at the finish here, I think Kane maybe could have benefited from shorting that very last stroke. She had brought her back. She had brought Sismans back there if we watch now, but just elected to pull back and then short last stroke. So that, I think that cost her the race.
I think she should have taken Sismans. Did you see Sismans finish? She was nearly climbing out the pole. Look. Look. She gets right into the pad. Then she takes another stroke. My goodness me. Wouldn't have expected that from someone with her experience. But there you go. It's a human performance sport, so there's always going to be room for error. Women's 50 breaststroke then. We're looking at the A final coming up next. A real succulent battle here between Corrie Scott and Catherine Johnson. Johnson, the record holder. Corrie Scott certainly saw him a much better heat time of 31.55. Here they are.
In lane 9, representing South Ayrshire, Erin Robertson. In lane 8, representing Edinburgh University, Hayley Monteith. In lane 7, representing Geary, Hannah Miley. In lane 6, representing Highland, Cara Hanlon. In lane 5, representing Edinburgh University, Catherine Johnston. In lane 4, representing Edinburgh University, Corrie Scott. In lane 3, representing Edinburgh University, Andrea Strachan. In lane 2, representing Hatfield, Katie Armitage. In lane 1, representing Carnegie, Rachel O'Donnell. In lane 0, representing City of Aberdeen, Caitlin Tuto. Ladies and gentlemen, the finalists for the A final of the women's 50 metres breaststroke.
32.21 is the qualifying time for nomination on this 50 breaststroke. 31.48 is the record held by Catherine Johnson. Corrie Scott looks maybe to take over her crown. It's 33s and 32s on the outside, in the centre, 31s. Hannah Miley in with the speedsters on the short breaststroke.
Yeah, Corrie Scott was excellent this morning, very impressive in the heats with a 31.5, but I fancied Catherine might just have something a little bit extra in tonight's final. Looks like she's, certainly the first 20 metres, she's a little ahead. Remember Hanlon and Strachan, both in another shout with that nomination time.
They are. Strachan's going really well, but now the power and the timing of Corrie Scott. She had a terrible start in my view, left the field to go, but here she is, powering to the finish. Johnson can do nothing about it. Is Scott on song? She's a little bit tight to that wall, but she takes it in 31.38. It's a new Scottish record. It's a Games nomination qualifying time swim. It's also 31.53, a qualifying time for Johnson, and Strachan goes under as well. So 3 places from the 50 breaststroke. That's what we would have liked to seen in the last 3 days, but it's happening in the 50 breaststroke. Great swim from Corrie Scott. Again, takes it all away. It's a Hollywood finish for Scott. Games qualifying time, gold medal, new Scottish record. What more do you want? Johnson with the silver and Strachan with that excellent start held on for third.
Yeah, Corey Scott was a little behind at 25, but just kept her stroke rate up, kept her stroke length, did not panic, and just, well, well, I was going to say a perfect finish, but again, you know, Scottish record, we cannot complain.
Except it could have been faster. Yeah, I could see you hesitating there, Rob, about the finish, because you just knew it wasn't the best. But she got the record, she got the qualifying time. And here she is with Amy, if she's got any breath left to give some comment.
Congratulations, Corey. Gold medal, underneath the nomination time for Team Scotland and a new Scottish record. How do you feel about your swim there?
I'm absolutely over the moon. Like, I didn't expect that at all in the 50. I've been training more for the 100 and I'm just over the moon. It's amazing.
So Glasgow would be your second Commonwealth Games. Of course, you were in Delhi. How have your preparations coming into these trials differed from back in 2010?
I was a lot younger at the last ones and it was kind of a bit more of a surprise to make the team. And this time I've been training for the last 4 years for this. So I'm so excited and Glasgow's going to be amazing.
Well, congratulations, Corey. Thank you very much. Everybody, your 50-metre breaststroke champion, Corey Scott.
So we're now back to presentations for the previous events. And here the men's 50-metre backstroke presentation.
Presenter is Carlin Isles, a Glasgow Warriors player and a member of the USA Rugby Sevens team. The bronze medalist, representing West Dunbartonshire, Rory Lamont. The silver medalist, representing City of Aberdeen, Andrew McGovern. And the gold medalist and Scottish Gas national champion 2014, representing the City of Aberdeen, Jack Ness. The Scottish Gas Junior Champion 2014, representing South Ayrshire, Kieran Brand. Ladies and gentlemen, the medalist for the men's 50 metres backstroke.
So the men's 50 backstroke, a lovely finish from Jack Ness, just nicked it from everybody with that perfect finish. 6 in a line there, coming into the wall. And just shows how important it is. Now, I hope the message does get through, because it's all over Europe, it's all over the world. It's about how you do the turns, how you do the finishes, how you put all the small things into place and make them higher in priority. And that's what can make the difference. Coaching techniques, principles of the stroke, principles of conditioning, that's all there. We all know that. The difference is in the performances. You can see the people that make the errors, Here's the 50 breaststrokers.
Medals presented by past president and life member of SASA, Gina Logan. The bronze medalist representing Edinburgh University, Andrea Strachan. The silver medalist representing Edinburgh University, Catherine Johnston. The gold medalist and Scottish Gas national champion for 2014, representing Edinburgh University in a new Scottish record time, Corrie Scott. The Scottish Gas Junior Champion 2014, representing South Ayrshire, Erin Robertson. Ladies and gentlemen, your medalists for the women's 50 metres breaststroke.
Nice presentation for the breaststroke. Wonderful collection for Corrie Scott. The qualifying time, all three swimmers under the qualifying time for the Games nomination. And what happens is, they've done the time, they were in the top three swimmers in the A final, so their names go on a list and it goes towards the Commonwealth Games committee and they have the final say. It's almost an automatic ratification, but it isn't always. They need to meet all the criteria. Here's the B finalists for the 400 IM.
In lane 4, representing Geary, Joseph Miley. In lane 5, representing East Lothian, Chris McComb. In lane 3, representing Portsmouth Northsea, Oliver Kincart. In lane 6, representing Carnegie, Cameron Nelson. In lane 2, representing Rushmore, Ewan Lane. In lane 7, representing Elgin, Callum Deans. In lane 1, representing City of Glasgow, Jack McComish. In lane 8, representing City of Glasgow, Mark Deans. In lane 0, representing Heart of Midlothian, Cameron Finlayson. In lane 9, representing South Mainland, Donny Price. The finalists for the B final of the men's 400 metres individual medley.
We're at the B final of the men's 400 individual medley. No hiding place. 400 IM. All the strokes, all the skills, including turns within the stroke, back to back, fly to fly, breast to breast, free to free, and then links between the four strokes. Joseph Miley, 4:44 in lane 4. Straight out of the Miley manufacturing factory of Summers. Hannah's young brother. Now you can see that the excitement, the preparation, the readiness. The first 50 always looks as if they're going to have a race all the way through, but, well, the 400 IM sorts them out, as you will see.
Yeah, lane 5 looking nice and long and strong there. Chris McComb from East Lothian. Chris, I know, has got a really good backstroke and breaststroke as well, so if he's in contention in this early stages, we might see something good from him. But it's Miley in lane 4 that's pushing ahead slightly. That kind of characteristic Miley loping free butterfly. Perhaps not dropping his head enough at the front, but still tidy nonetheless. Yeah, so looking up this first 100, and it is Joseph Miley, 102.75, followed by McComb, 102.9. Let's see if Chris can impose himself in this backstroke. It looks like these two, certainly in the first 200. Third up in lane 2 there, Ewan Lang. He's from Rushmore, down south.
So in the first 150, you can see that the medley has now split into 3 distinct phases at the backstroke turn. You've got a lead, Miley against McComb. Then you've got a wave of 4 in the second place, and just starting to come through in lane 3, Oliver Kincart, the Portsmouth North Sea 15-year-old. Had a really good heat swim in the afternoon for a 4:45.65. Getting him into the B final, and then the arrowhead starting to form as the swimmers in the outside lane just drift off the race pace. The shape will change again on the breaststroke, but Miley going through in 2:13 with a 2-second lead off the second placed swimmer.
Yeah, and Miley really good drive in his breaststroke as well. McComb slightly longer in stroke length, just holding it out there. The front of his stroke a little bit longer than Joseph. Joseph a little bit more dynamic at the front of his stroke. You can see Chris is really using that kick at the back to glide and actually catch him with every stroke. This might get interested in the 650 as we turn round here.
Again, the arrowhead just tightening up a little bit on the breaststroke as McComb catches Miley at the turn. Now, McComb looks stronger. He's taken a long underwater. His first couple of strokes are very good. He's holding that form very nicely. East Lothian 16-year-old against Geary 16-year-old. Joseph just losing a little bit on the breaststroke now as McComb winds up as he goes towards the freestyle.
Yeah, you can see McComb just building a half to a metre lead there coming into the 300 turn. Excellent breaststroke leg here from Chris McComb. You can see that long stroke really works in the IM just to help conserve the energy for that freestyle. Let's see what Chris can do in the freestyle.
3:35. Now they went 4:44, so plenty of room. Now Miley just moving up on the shoulder. It's going to be a head battle, and a man breaking for the 3rd place in the B final over there in 2. It's Ewan Lang of Rushmore, the Anglo-Scot from the 18-year-old in the green hat there across the pool. They turn together. They both look very tired, so now it's all about heart and sinew and effort. And again, the Miley genes kicking in. McComb not letting it happen. No, he's coming back on him. 25 to go.
Well, Miley has the advantage of breathing to Chris McComb. Chris McComb breathing away from Miley, so he's not going to know what's happening, but he's fighting nonetheless. Excellent fight here from McComb and Miley. It's going to go all the way to the end, I think. Maybe just McComb stretching out in the last 5. Get your head down, guys. Well,
Miley at the end for 40.41, a tenth of a second. Didn't look like that visually, did it? But that's often the way. A close finish with your eye suddenly sees a big difference in the time. What a wonderful race, though. Remember, they came in on 4:44 from the heats. That's down to 4:40. Miley first, 4:40.41. McComb with a 0.1 slower, and Jack McComish took the 3rd place in a tight finish on 45s. He went 45.04.
Yeah, all the way down that last 50 there. I was expecting Miley to keep pulling away, but McComb just wouldn't give it up. I was just dying for McComb to get his head down that last. Well, he did. and his long lever suggested he might have got it, but Miley just snuck in right at the end.
In lane 4, representing Warrender, Dan Wallace. In lane 5, representing the University of Stirling, Lewis Smith. In lane 3, representing University of Stirling, Ross Muir. In lane 6, representing first, Duncan Scott.
Florida-based Scottish record holder.
In lane 2, representing City of Aberdeen,
Lewis
Stuart
Smith
McIntosh.
from University of Stirling.
In lane 7, representing Geary, Alistair Miley. In lane 1, representing Best, Ryan Brown. In lane 8, representing Warrender, Ross Woolley. In lane 0, representing first, Callum Laurie. In lane 9, representing Warrender, Matthew Anderson. Ladies and gentlemen, the A final of the men's 400 metres individual medley.
Qualifying time of 4:20.10 looks to be within the compass of the swimmers in the centre. Ross Muir, Dan Wallace, Lewis Smith. Don't write out Duncan Scott. The second brother, Alistair Miley, in 7. So this could be a good race. Dan Wallace has had a busy programme. Remember, he came off NC2As in March. Silver there, travelled across, came here and he swam all his events. Already got the qualifying time in the 200, but Wallace might put on a special swim here. His Scottish record at 4:13.72 might be out of reach. And we expect Wallace and Smith to make the qualifying time quite easily, and it could be a battle for the 3rd place and another qualifying time from the best of the rest.
Yeah, really looking forward to seeing how this one develops. Obviously Smith and Lewis have the real pedigree up in the middle lanes there, but like you said, Drew, Ross Muir and Duncan Scott might end up battling out for that 3rd place. 4:20, sub 4:20s order of day for those guys.
Lewis Smith, bronze medalist from the World University Games in Kazan last year. And you can just see that he's powering just as easily as Dan Wallace in the red cap in lane 4. And tucked in behind Ross Muir, University of Stirling. Scott a little bit behind in lane number 6.
Well, if you're going to pick out a weak stroke for Wallace and Smith, you'd probably pick the backstroke. Whereas Ross Muir, probably one of his strengths. So this might chop and change in the middle 200. But I would still expect Wallace to come back, certainly in the second 200.
Well, with Smith and Muir leading, I don't think we're going to see a special time. It's going to be a race, I think, under the 4:20. That's a slightly easier qualifying time, we feel, for the 400 IM. And you can see here, Lewis, steady head, has to work the legs. He's a heavy boy, strong, heavily muscled. You've got Ross Muir, very light in the water, just coming up, just to head the event. Might even take over from Lewis Smith with 15 to go.
Yeah, Ross, definitely his strength, Ross, is the middle 200. So he knows that, he's capitalising on that, trying to push ahead in this backstroke. Probably him and Lewis are neck and neck in the 200 breaststroke, so I would expect an even race in this third 100. Ross just needs to make sure and get ahead of the Wallace and Scott for that last 100 metres freestyle.
Dan Wallace caught on the backstroke also by Duncan Scott and Alistair Miley, but the back to breast turn, you see, that's the skill. He's now 4 metres lead on the 4th and 5th place, and he's starting now to cut down and get up beside Lewis Smith after this breaststroke. Ross Muir looking focused on the wall, both trying to catch Smith. Now watch Wallace underwater, beautiful timing. There's the underwater, there's the break into the stroke, and he's up and running again.
Yeah, he's deceptive, Wallace, just deceptively fast and long in that breaststroke. He's just eaten into Smith and Muir here. Smith probably still got the advantage. He's a good, strong freestyler, so I'm just wondering if Wallace is giving himself too much to do here.
Well, you know, it's been a big load. You can't blame it if it's just a narrow second place or third place. Ross Muir picking up in the last 2 strokes of the breaststroke, eager to get onto that front crawl. Lewis Smith then, 5 metres lead. Here comes Dan Wallace, hunting them down.
Yeah, this is going to be a tasty last 75 metres. Lewis Smith, 3:53 in the 400 earlier on. Dan Wallace, 3:49. So he's got that extra pace on Lewis, but he's still got a body length to make up in this last 50. Going to be really tight.
And Lewis has always the ability to pick it up in the end. So Ross Muir has been taken. There's the drive off the wall. A power leg kick from Wallace. Every stroke he's cutting the gap. Lewis Smith will see him. Can he do anything about it? 25 to go for Lewis. Here comes Dan Wallace, stroke for stroke. What a race in the 400 IM. Absolutely superb. Wallace desperate to get to the front. Lewis holding him off. Again, it's going to be the finish that determines the finish. It's Lewis Smith who's going to hold on. He takes it in 4:16.28, 4:16.4, both under the qualifying time, and 4:20.05. And Ross Muir gets under it by 5/100ths of a second. Well done, gentlemen. What a swim. What a race. End of the programme for men, 400 IM. And didn't he put it up there on the top shelf?
Well, we did predict perhaps the
4:16.28 for Lewis, 4:16.40, just those 12/100ths. Ross Muir, 4:20.05. That's the gold, silver, bronze, and all 3 under the qualifying time for nominations. Fabulous.
Yeah, we did predict the possibility of 3 people. That was a great swim from all 3. Lewis Smith just showed so much toughness there in that last 50. We all know he's tough, but holding off Dan Scott, the pedigree he has is pretty special. Yeah, well, Dan obviously was breathing away from Lewis in the last 10 metres there, so probably just couldn't see how far ahead he was. Don't know if that would have made a difference.
12/100ths of a second. What a great finish. So these 3 swimmers are going across to the interview point, because underneath the qualifying time, and after that great race, I'm sure Amy would like to draw out a few thoughts and feelings from the athletes there. Absolutely fabulous. And here they are with Amy on the poolside. Dan Wallace gave himself a big job to do, but you can see the quality of the man, and he's raced so hard the whole of the 4-day championships. So here's Amy with the gold, silver and bronze, and getting ready. Here are the thoughts from all 3 in that last 400.
The winners who were all underneath the nomination time for Team Scotland in that men's 400 IM, sorry. That was such a close race, Lewis. How do you feel about that?
I'm pleased to get the time and get the win, but I'm also fully aware that come a couple of months' time when we're back here with the rest of the Commonwealth, if I want to be in amongst the medals, that's just not going to cut it that sort of time. So disappointed with the time, but glad to get the win after just losing it on the fly the other day to the teammates. So I'm really happy for Ross as well. We trained together, and it's great to see him under that qualifying time as well.
So Dan, of course, you were at the World Championships in the final of that event. What lessons have you learned from that you can take into Glasgow?
Last summer was a great experience for me, my first international meet. But you know, Scottish swimming, especially in the 400 IM, we've come so far since Delhi, and I think that us 3 here are really going to contend for medals come Commonwealth Games.
Ross, that was such a close race, nail-biting right at the end. What does it mean to you for the prospect of being here later this summer competing at the Commonwealth Games?
It means the world. I've waited all week for this race. I just really wanted to get into that qualifying time, and just to make it, I'm so relieved. It wasn't the best time, but I'm just happy to make that consideration time, and hopefully, if I'm selected, I can swim better in the summer.
Well, congratulations, guys. Let's have a huge cheer for Lewis, Dan, and for Ross.
Also, they're always asking me to give them a shout out if I'm on telly. So, Rory, Andy, and Blair, thanks for watching. Cheers.
Well done, guys. Thanks very much.
Yeah. We know it was a Hollywood finish, but you don't know how to be a Hollywood star, Lewis. Absolutely wonderful. And I think the most honest comments from Ross Muir in the relief of making the qualifying time.
In lane 4, representing Warrender, Rebecca Smith. In lane 5, representing South Lanarkshire, Meg Finnan. In lane 3, representing Dumfries, Abby Houston. In lane 6, representing First, Alicia McCracken. In lane 2, representing First, Lauren Pirouet. In lane 7, representing Ren 96, Vari High. In lane 1, representing St Thomas, Sophie Smith. In lane 8, representing City of Aberdeen, Jessica Thompson. In lane 0, representing Warrender, India Dodd. Ladies and gentlemen, the fastest heat of the women's 1500 metres freestyle.
This is the women's 1500 metres freestyle. It's the final individual event of the championship programme. Some have waited a long time. Others, obviously, have had hard races throughout. 4s and 8s, of course. The fastest time on entry is Rebecca Smith of Warrender, 17:13.79 time. 30 laps. Concentration, pacing, stroke technique, and making sure you don't leave anything in that pool. At the end of the swim, you want to have it all out there. You know, no regrets. You can't finish with a whole bank of energy, and you really need to make sure you spread it over the 1500 and feel absolutely confident that you've done your best. So during this 1500, we're going to pick out some interesting tweets. This is your last chance to call us on hashtag SGNC 2014. Come on, you know you want to.
Yeah, the 1500. We saw a perfect example of that this afternoon with Daniel Huskisson, University of Stirling swimmer, posting a 16:31. These girls look to be basing their times just a little slower, but hopefully they can emulate Danielle. Interestingly, I was speaking to Danielle's coach at lunchtime. She said that the plan there was to do 5 300s, descend 1 to 5. So she was building into the swim. She wasn't going flat out at the start. She was making sure she can build in her pace, nail that pace halfway through and just build from there. So I think that worked quite well from Danielle this afternoon. So let's see if these girls have a similar approach.
Well, they would need a similar coach maybe. But that's one plan, and it worked. And you could see that she was building through the 1500. So at the moment, what you have is Rebecca Smith going out, getting into the rhythm. Now it'll take at least 400 to make sure that she's on pace. Early nerves, getting rid of that. Finding out how she feels, checking her pace, knowing how she feels against how hard she's having to work. She won't know the exact time. She'll know roughly where she is in terms of time because of all the pace work. But she needs to settle in. You can see that with the swimmer Meg Finnan, who's had a clutch of junior medals, winning the Scottish Junior Championship on a couple of events. Having her beside her maybe makes her swim a bit faster in the first 300 or 400. Don't think they can keep this up all the way, so something's going to have to break.
Yeah, Rebecca Smith just edging ahead. It's interesting how these things develop. You just never know who's holding back, who's gone too early. Looking at the strokes there, it looks like Meg has got a nice controlled stroke. Rebecca maybe a little bit more relying on her rhythm that might just fade in the end, but we can just wait and see.
This Meg Finnan is very tall, very rangy, very light on the water. She obviously swam well in the 400 and 800. She has a bit of speed too from the 4x2. Nice clean entry, a real distance swimmer stroke. Quite a strong bent arm under the centre of the body. Head back to the centre, nice balance, breathing bilaterally. That's every 3 strokes. To the side and then to the other side. Turning together then in the early stages of this 1500.
Yeah, it's all too easy, I guess, to start emulating the person next to you in terms of pace and settle into a rhythm that's not right for you. So hopefully these girls have their own race plan in their head as well, and they have a plan to push ahead. Looks like lane 3 as well is trying to get into the mix. Abby Houston, 18-year-old from Dumfries. She's nice, controlled, long stroke as well, and I think if she gets back on track with these girls, it might be a 3-horse race all the way.
Well, it would be nice to have a race in the 1500 and taking it all the way through. Now you can just see Meg Finnan keeping up the tempo, and as Rebecca Smith breathes to the side, you can just see the effort she's putting in. Stroke a little shorter, holding the tempo but not quite getting the range. And again, the 18-year-old Abby Houston looking quite comfortable there at this stage. And she might be comfortable just sitting there and tagging along. The danger is to let Finnan get too far ahead.
Yeah, and you can see a difference in leg kicks there. Meg Finnan just kind of trailing. They've got maybe a 2 to 4 beat kick at the back there, but predominantly just trailing behind a strong, controlled arm stroke, whereas Abby, a little bit more consistent leg kick, reliant on that to keep her body nice and high, stretch out the front of her stroke.
Going through in 5:39. And she's putting a little bit of pressure on this field. She's feeling good, you can tell that. She's still clean. There's no break in the rhythm. It's a very fast tempo. And very clean at the front. No splash of water at the front, still controlled, so, you know, lots of focus and concentration. Remember, hashtag SGNC 2014. This is your last call, because we're going to read out a few tweets in just a minute or so. You can see that there's now a clear gap between Finnan and Smith and Houston, and Abby Houston just quietly starting to move up to overtake Rebecca Smith, the Dumfries 18-year-old, in a 17:31 entry. Meg Finnan on 17:18. It's a good swim from Meg Finnan.
Yeah, you can see it's the stroke of a well-drilled swimmer, nice and controlled. Bilateral breathing every 3. It looks like it's second nature to Meg there. It's obviously hours and hours in the pool, practicing the tidy stroke, breathing patterns, hitting the pace that she wants to hit here, which looks like she's settling on a 67-68 pace, which based on her time might sneak her under 17 minutes. That's definitely a target for Meg in these early stages.
Now, Abby Houston looking very strong, still with a high leg kick. The head steady, again balance, breathing every 3 strokes, so it's bilateral. That keeps a nice balance on the stroke. You can see Rebecca Smith having to throw her head a couple of times to the right hand side, then she puts the head down, then a couple of breaths. That's her pattern, but it is a more unbalanced stroke, although very powerful. Now Finnan 7:55.61 at the 800, at 700 rather. Now she's putting in a lighter kick at this stage. She's made the break, and you can just see that Abby Houston is gradually cutting that back. A lot of room for Abby Houston. Just, you know, it only takes 0.4, 0.5, and you've still got, you know, a great number of laps, and you just multiply that up, and you can cut that gap right down. And that's how they do it at the top level. You only need to swim half a second faster, 0.8 faster, and you suddenly, after 20 laps, you find that you've cut the gap down to nothing.
Yeah, Abby clearly swimming her own race. Obviously a distant third of the first couple 100 metres, but just pegging her back very consistently every 100 metres.
Well, we'll have a look at your tweets now during this middle stage of the 1500. They've got to 800. The check time is 9:03, and that's the halfway stage in terms of the hundreds. But Finnan keeping the pressure on the field and opening up an even bigger gap. What have you said to us?
Yeah, so the tweets continue to come in all over the country. So the first one is from University of Stirling. Obviously Stirling have a fantastic meet this weekend. So at University of Swim, at Shan Harkin, adding 100 free gold to her collection despite not being able to swim in a straight line. Well, that's definitely something for Shan to take away. Maybe sneak under the 56 mark if you can swim in a straight line, Shan. Peter Ferguson from Swim Ulster. Well done, Jordan. That's Jordan Sloan, who was in the 50 back earlier. And also well done, Connor Ferguson. A new Swim Ulster junior record of 27.58. So well done, Jordan and Connor. Lucy Walcup at Walcup says at Carnegie SC and at Tane Bruce. So Tane Bruce lifting the junior title and senior silver in the women's 200 fly. Well done, Tane. Yeah, so Tane having a really good competition. And we've also got, well, we've got another one from Heather Stark. Great live coverage of the SGNC. Well done to all who qualified and got PBs. Being better at being you is the name of the game. So, couldn't agree more, Heather. And the last one for you now is again from University of Stirling. At Ross 1 Muir, Commonwealth Games qualifying time for 400 IM. Absolutely brilliant. So obviously Ross sneaking in third there in that previous event. Well done, Ross.
Thanks, Rob, and thanks very much to you for all your support and your tweets. You don't know just how much Scottish Swimming, you know, appreciates that support. Subscribing into YouTube and also the tweets. So great stuff, thank you. Now, gap out to 15 metres as Finnan hits the wall on the 1000, 11:19. Just really good pacing, really good 1500 distance swimming. The hands still getting out there, so shoulder, back and arm muscles feeling in good nick. The kick starting to go now to a little 2-beat, 4-beat interrupted. It's very, very unidentifiable pattern as that tires, but she could be saving her legs at this stage. And there's a little difference of opinion about where the tough point is, but somewhere around the 11 to 13 mark, the swimmer hits the wall and really has to work. And you can see that Meg Finnan is just not quite as smooth, and that leg kick is not there all the time. She's still swimming well, but starting to rock and roll a little bit more, so that means there's a little bit more side movement in the stroke. She gets to 12:28. Super.
Well, it was a 6:85 there from Meg, so if we're looking at that 17-minute target, which would be a great barrier to break through, we're going to have to just bring it back down to 67s in this last 400. So I'm sure Meg can find something in the last 8 lengths here.
Yeah, you just feel that when she was swimming against the other women, that seemed to spur her on. When she gets in her own, need to really focus and concentrate. Know she's going good pace, but when you have that race competitor, it just makes a difference. You can see that Abby Houston did well to use Rebecca Smith as the target, the hound versus the hare, and move into a clear second place. Elsewhere, everybody in their own world challenging their entry times. Some of them have 17 minutes 58. It's going to prove a little bit difficult this evening. Again, 1500 coming at the end of the individual event program. Just makes it extra difficult for these distance swimmers who have had to maybe swim extra events and relay events through the first 3 days. But exciting swimming nevertheless. We've had qualifying times, we've had Scottish records, even in the day 4 swims. So absolutely blistering national championships and great preparation for either next week's British Championship swim, where the gaps in the team selection or team nomination can be filled, and ultimately, as been pointed out by the likes of Robbie Rennick and Hannah Miley, focusing on their games preparation by, you know, chilling out and really getting down to focus on this the final couple of months.
So 200 to go now for Meg, and she was back on track in that third from last 100, so 14:45. So we're looking at a 2:14 final 200, which I think, when you consider there's a natural uptick in tempo in the last, certainly in the last 150, there's still in scope to do this for Meg. Come on, Meg, let's get that kick going.
Yeah, you just stole my thought. Get that leg action back in place.
Yeah, so psychologically, as much as she'll be hurting and hitting that wall, I think she sees a chink of light at the end of the tunnel. We know there's only 3 lengths to go. She can kind of start to give everything, as opposed to conserve her energy and spread her energy.
Just starting to look a little bit lighter. You know, you almost feel that there's an injection, you know, of adrenaline just at the end here. She's really picked up the stroke rate. She's higher in the water. Leg kick has come back in. The relief of the bell, and I think we'll get a very fast last 100. 15:54 at the turn, Rob.
Well, yeah, so we're looking at a 65 point for the last 100 here for Meg. You could tell the sound of the bell lifted her there, just built into that last turn. Let's see what she's got in the last 75. There's definitely an increase in stroke rate from Meg here. And it's just whether or not she's still pulling as hard with those arms to get that speed. Come on, Meg, get those legs going as well.
Abby Houston from Dumfries in second place. Back in third place, Rebecca Smith, the 17:13 entry time. The Warrender swimmer held it for 4, and then her competitors just moved away from her. Is Meg Finnan, South Lanarkshire, 25 to go, being encouraged by her coach Andy Figgins on the poolside there. 15 metres. Head down, real good strong finish, building into the wall, the legs coming in. This is an absolutely class swim from Meg Finnan. 17:01.29, just outside the 17-minute mark. Wins the 1500, and as a junior, I'm sure she'll pick that up as well. Let's have a look just to check in the 1500. The junior record, 16:48 by Megan Gilchrist. And 16:27, the national senior record by Megan Gilchrist. So getting close to that and starting to build towards that kind of time is Meg Finnan, the eventual winner. A lot of swimmers just coming in to finish now. It's been a long, hard 1500 in the last session. The crowd has thinned down, the support has gone. Be lifted again, I'm sure, for the relay, but I think they could have done with a bit of encouragement during the swim. It's maybe been a feature of the championships. The seats have not been all full. It's maybe a difficult time of the year for support. And the event is now closed and the board cleared for the Summers to leave the pool. 17:01.29 to finish with the gold. Houston with 17:23.3. I think that's a good silver medal. Rebecca Smith 17:26.7. Here's the finish.
Yeah, 17-second PB from Meg there. Just coming into the finish after 30 hard lengths. And just a stretch. Just could have maybe rotated her body to the side there. But listen, after 30 lengths, really tough swim, really good swim. 17-second PB. Well done, Meg.
So the few crowd there. Here's Amy.
National champion after their race and around a 17-second time off your entry time. How are you feeling about your performance?
Really good. It's just been great just to get out there and try and PB it because I've not swam in a while, but it's been good.
Now the 1500 is such a long race. What do you do to keep yourself motivated throughout the entire thing?
I just kind of watch my coach and just kind of talk to myself through and just try and keep on pace. So it's quite good.
Well, congratulations, very well done. Everybody, huge cheer for Meg Finnan.
Well, I think there was more from Meg Finnan there. She had some thoughts, I'm sure. However, time moves on. The individual events closed as we move back for a presentation 400 IM.
Medals being presented by George Walker, Director of Sport Scotland. The bronze medalist, representing the University of Stirling, Ross Muir. The silver medalist, representing Warrender, Dan Wallace. And the gold medalist and Scottish Gas national champion for 2014, representing the University of Stirling, Lewis Smith. The Scottish Gas junior champion, representing Borders Elite Swim Team, Ryan Brown. Your medalist in the men's 400 meters.
This is the men's 4x100 medley relay, the penultimate event of the championships. And here, in just a moment, we'll see the teams back crawl, breaststroke, butterfly, freestyle. Exciting relay. Can be very close, can have lots of changes too in the lead. So we're now about to welcome the teams for that last final for the men's programme, the 4x100 medley relay.
In lane 4, Warren Derbaths, 18. In lane 5, Loughborough University. In lane 3, City of Glasgow. In lane 6, Loughborough University. In lane 2, City of Aberdeen. In lane 7, Perth City. In lane 1, Carnegie. In lane 8, East Lothian. In lane 0, South Lanarkshire. In lane 9, Dundee University. Ladies and gentlemen, the swimmers for the men's 4x100 meters medley relay final heat.
So South Lanark in 0, Carnegie in 1, Coast in 2, Glasgow in 3, Warrender in 4, Loughborough in 5, Loughborough in 6, Perth in 7, East Lothian in 8, Dundee University in 9. Junior team for Carnegie in lane 1. Remember that, a junior team. All the strokes then, all the turns, and of course the very important takeovers. Got to watch those takeovers. Don't want any disqualifications there, so the swimmer has to make sure they're on a steady pace into the wall. A blistering start in 2 from Jack Ness. We just saw him snick the 50 backstroke. What can he do on the 100? This might be a surprise. 26.91 with that extra adrenaline going from the team swim. Ness is out there. Absolutely blistering speed. 25 to go.
Yeah, Jack, obviously 26.0 in that 50. 26.9 to feet is fast for 100. Let's see how we can hold on. I'm not sure what his 100 best is, but he's clearly going for it here. Second looks like to be, well, looks to be Stephen Milne. Rare outing for backstroke for Stephen. Are we going to get it in the touch? Well, it's actually Jack just 57.0, Stephen Milne 57.2.
I think you called it right, Rob. It was just, he looked as if he had just died a death there on the last 2 strokes. Okay, picking it up in lane 2, Mark Campbell. Swift on the 50. Again, just maybe not making it to the 100.
Well, in lane 4, point to note here is Chris Gilchrist, 30-year-old from Warrender, coaching at Warrender now, former world short course champion, and obviously a fantastic Scottish swimmer over the years. So Chris has been drafted in for this breaststroke leg, looks to be making a little bit of pull up here on Coast out in lane 2.
Yeah, cutting the gap in. Gilchrist, former Scottish record holder as well, of course. But good swim from Chris. Just shows you can come in and maybe do the one swim. So taking over, Ewan Dunbar into the butterfly. For Warrender, it's Sean Campsey, so watch for the lead being cut even more. Loughborough, 20-year-old Stephen King. Loughborough, well, they dominated the 100 freestyle. They're not having it their own way in the medley, but they are a strong team. Out in 4th place, the Perth team. Avon Rivers in lane 7. Now look at the turn, the underwater of Warnder, a long, strong underwater section from Sean Campsey. And now we've got a race.
Yeah, well, Coast obviously got a lot of speed in that team with McGovern, with Ness, with Campbell in the breaststroke, but looks like Warner's just taking them just towards the end of this third 100 here. Coast do have McGovern, obviously the speed merchant on the backstroke on that last leg, so it's going to be really interesting.
Well, Warner just into the lead. Now this is Simran Wilkes, a really fast sprinter on the 50, but look at McGovern tramp up this 50.
Well, McGovern obviously getting pretty excited here, and quite rightly so, last night of the championships. Really going for that there. Let's see this first 50 split for McGovern. It's pretty impressive, and he's going to have to control that second 50.
David Thompson's lurking, the Loughborough swimmer, isn't he? He's powering through. So Wilkes under pressure. Andrew McGovern going for it, but coming in hard. It's David Thompson of Loughborough. 3 in a line. Wilkes trying to hold on. It's about strength, it's about judgment. Thompson looks to have snicked it, and again with a rush to the wall. David Thompson of Loughborough goes 3:49.18 for the win in the medley relay. The Loughborough boys can't win the national title, but they can certainly win the event. That was a well-judged 100. I thought Wilkes should have had it over and done with, but not quite the finish again.
Yeah, really impressive last 50 there from the Loughborough boys. And last 5 metres as well, just all the way into the wall.
Great sprinting. Chris Gilchrist, of course, in the medley you've got stroke rules and regulations, you've got turns, you've got takeovers, a lot of information. Try to process it as quickly as possible, and we hear that Carnegie, the quartet of Barnes and Nelson and Shranek have done a new junior record. 3:49.18 for Loughborough. Warner with the Scottish title in second place, 49.4. City of Aberdeen, 3:49.67 for the bronze. Carnegie finally disqualified, a junior record time, but finally disqualified in the last analysis. Well, when you're up, and when you're down, you're out.
Well, David Thompson just having that ability to accelerate under the flags there. Straight arming, no breaths, wins by half a second.
Yeah, a little panic at the end here. Watch Thompson, lovely, smooth, balanced stroke, gets into the 5, starts to look for the wall, and then an extra quick 1-2 into the wall. Oh, so 4x100 freestyle, 4x100 medley. They didn't have it all their way. They had to work for it, and
You're with the team from Loughborough who just won the men's 4x100 medley relay. You won the 100 last night, 100 free medley relay, 100 free relay last night. How are you feeling about that performance there?
That one was a lot closer than last night, which we kind of expected. It's been a long 4 days, but it's good to end on a good note and double up, I suppose, on both relays.
So you swam the anchor leg there. Were you aware of how close it was as you were coming into the wall?
Yeah, obviously, I mean, I could see the guy on my right and just try to get my head down the last 10 metres and get a touch for the guys.
Well, guys, you certainly did that. Congratulations, everybody. Loughborough University.
Thank you.
Cool.
In lane 4, Carnegie. In lane 5, Warrender. In lane 3, South Lanarkshire 18. In lane 6, East Lothian. In lane 2, South Lanarkshire B team. In lane 7, Stirling Swim. In lane 1, South Ayrshire. In lane 8, Milngavie and Bearsden. In lane 0, City of Glasgow. In lane 9, City of Aberdeen.
This is the final of the 4x100 metre medley relay for women, and it's the last event on the 4-day fun-filled programme here at the National Championships. The women get to highlight the end of the National Championships and the Commonwealth Games Phase 1 selection meet. In the centre, strong team from Carnegie. And in lane 1, just watch South Ayrshire, a junior team. So there's a junior record at stake. Underway for the last event in the last final of the 2014 championships. Very good start in lane 4 by Kirsty Simpson of Carnegie. Also going well up there, Karen Reid for South Ayrshire junior team. And in 9 for Coast, Emily Grant.
Yeah, Kirsty, superb turnover there in this first 50. It's still looking quite controlled with it. Often you'll find it's a bit messy with a high turnover, but Kirsty's done a good job at controlling himself there. You saw, obviously, in the men's race, both Jack Ness and Stephen Milne capitalising on that opportunity to post a good, fast 100-metre time, and hopefully Kirsty can do that as well.
And she's doing the job she should do. She's got her head steady, got a good wind-up, but she's holding it absolutely. The tempo is just perfect. She can hold this into the wall. The outgoing swimmer will get all the information she needs to do a good takeover. Absolutely wonderful. Yes. Very close on the takeover. Kirsty Simpson to Samantha Caulfield. But it was such a good takeover that it's cleared about 3-4 metres of a lead.
Yeah, so Samantha has some immediate advantage going in here. Obviously up in lane 1, Katie Robertson, the 12-year-old from South Ayrshire, currently in second, but looks like we've got another in line 9. We've got Caitlin Tuto from Coast. So it's these three at the moment. But no one's anywhere near Samantha Caulfield, and she looks to be stretching her lead, if anything.
So a battle in the second wave of swimmers. There's almost, well, there's certainly 8 all in a line. Well back is City of Glasgow over in lane 0. Not in the race at all. But the other teams have a chance of moving up as the breaststrokers come through. Getting dropped in lane 7 is Stirling, perhaps. And fighting through in lane 5, it's Warnder with Emma Chittleborough. The gap not so big at the takeover. From breaststroke to butterfly. It's a very long butterfly takeover dive from the Carnegie swimmer, Tane Bruce. Well, silver in the main championship on the 50. Scottish junior champion in that. Now she heads for the 100. You liked her 100 in the medley too, Rob?
Yeah, she's just got a terrific stroke, terrific flat, direct stroke, Tane, and it'll be good to see her have a blowout here in the 100. Obviously, we've seen her all of today in the 200 picking up that medal, but I'm quite sure she can hold this lead for her club Carnegie.
So again, the battle between South Ayrshire Junior, and in the centre in lane 5 it's Warrender's Megan Laurie battling it out with Jennifer Ritchie from East Lothian. In second place, just by a fraction, South Ayrshire's Erin Robertson, as Tane Bruce hands over to Zoe Mitchell. Carnegie powering this last 100. Zoe Mitchell, 17 years of age, almost over kicking and driving her into the water. Straight arms, giving it everything she can. South Ayrshire, Michelle Hoffin just being overtaken in lane 6 by Jennifer Henderson.
Well, Zoe had the luxury of a 7 and a bit second lead there going into her final legs, so she's going to be nice and relaxed. You can see that in that first 50. Arms were flowing, legs were kicking, and this is just a great position to be in, and she's done well to hold it. If anything, again, she's maybe stretched that lead out for Carnegie.
Indeed. Going in the last 10 then, Carnegie with an outstanding lead in the 4x100 medley. Look at the time, 4:21.50. 4:15 the Scottish record, looking good. Second place, wonderful from East Lothian, coming off that 100. And third, again, going to Warder-Baths and Jordan Sturt anchoring again. Heard her name so many times over these 4 days. Great racing from the ladies in the medley. Super swim from Carnegie. Too strong, too good for the others. Now, just waiting on all that information being posted to the referee, clearing the result. It has done so. The board is clear, and we can confirm that Carnegie with 4:21.50 hit the gold medal. East Lothian with 4:29.26 the silver. Warrender 4:31.14 for the bronze. Carnegie team, just to remind you, Kirsty Simpson on backstroke, Samantha Caulfield on the breast, Tane Bruce on the butterfly, Zoe Mitchell on the freestyle. An 18, a 16, a 15 and a 17-year-old making up that successful team in the 4x100 medley final. Just so strong at the end of the day. So the team over with Amy for the interview, and we'll hear from them hopefully in just a moment. And here we go.
I'm here with the final gold medalists of the Scottish Gas National Open Swimming Championships. The Carnegie girls just won the 4x100 freestyle medley relay for women. You led right from the beginning. How do you feel about that race?
Yeah, we're really happy with that performance. It's been quite a tough week of racing, so it's good to end on a high.
So what is it that you like about racing as a team instead of individually?
Well, we're quite a close team, anyway. And after such a long weekend, it's better to, get together for the last race.
Well, you guys did really well. Congratulations, everybody. A huge round of applause for our final medalists, Carnegie.
Lovely moment. Yes, modesty forbid her from being a normal person. The embarrassment and the nerve and the lovely immaturity there, just wonderful to get that on camera. Superb. Yeah, Rob, you've been here for a couple of days. You've been in a different position looking at this. No responsibility other than enjoying the swim. So what took your attention this evening?
Well, this evening the highlight for me was that 400 IM. Obviously Lewis and Dan Wallace making that team by a country mile, but Ross Muir as well getting that third position just by 0.05 of a second over a 4-minute swim. Really good for him. He's worked hard over the years, so I'm delighted for that.
Please welcome
the presentation. This is for the 1500 freestyle.
Medals presented by Eddie Wilmot, Vice President of Scottish Swimming. The bronze medalist, representing Dumfries, Abby Houston. The silver medalist, representing South Lanarkshire, Meg Finnan. And the gold medalist and Scottish Gas Open Champion 2014, representing University of Stirling, Danielle Huskisson. The Scottish Gas National Champion 2014, representing South Lanarkshire, Meg Finnan. And the Scottish Gas Junior Champion, representing South Lanarkshire, Meg Finnan.
Well, that's the presentation of the medals.
Ladies and gentlemen, your medalists in the women's 1500 metres.
And if you're wondering why Danielle Huskisson is on the gold, as an English swimmer, she can't swim in the final session in that second heat. So her time was posted in the afternoon session. She wins the event, but of course you saw there, not the national title. Now, it's always a crush and a rush to try and get the relay teams together. So let's see if we can slot in a couple of quick thoughts, Rob.
Yeah, so another thought probably for tonight is the 200 free. Obviously, Robbie's season campaigner, 147 tonight was real class from Robbie. I thought he might get pushed a little bit harder from likes of Jack Scott, but he ended up just motoring away in that last 100. Very impressed with him. And otherwise, obviously, the 100 freestyle, Shan Harkin did really well to hold off Caitlin McClatchy in that last 50. So, two other highlights from me.
Good. I liked Corrie Scott's final, especially when the dive wasn't great and she was behind. And it just shows that technique, that rhythm and that timing, it's just so smooth, it's silky, and she just held on to the finish. No panic, chased the field, got it all. Here's the 4x100 medley relay. Oh, sorry, yeah, Fed medley relay medal, sorry.
Medals presented by Forbes Dunlop, Chief Executive of Scottish Swimming. The bronze medalist is the team representing City of Aberdeen. Team of Jack Ness, Mark Campbell, Ewan Dunbar and Andrew McGovern. The silver medalists are the team representing Warrender. Team of Ryan Archibald, Chris Gilchrist, Sean Campsey, and Simran Wilkes. The gold medalists and Scottish Gas Open Champions 2014, the team representing Loughborough. The team of Daniel Stepton, Kyle Barrett, Steve King, and David Thompson. The Scottish Gas National Champions for 2014, the team representing Warrender. The Scottish champions are Ryan Archibald, Chris Gilchrist, Sean Campsey, and Simran Wilkes. And the Scottish Gas Junior Champions 2014 are South Ayrshire. And the girls collecting the junior medals on behalf of the boys. The boys team was Kieran Brand, Cameron Muir, Josh Mitchell, and Patrick Smith.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Rob, any just last comment on your experiences over the last couple of days and these finals?
Well, I just think the general standard across the whole competition in all ages and all standards has been excellent. Real strength and depth now in Scottish swimming, which has been really good. And obviously at the very top level, you've got likes of Murdoch, Jameson, Wallace and Miley that are really forging ahead in a world-class standard as well. So real positive signs throughout, I think.
Well, thanks very much, Rob. Well, of course, my thanks to you for your company and your insight and your comments over the last couple of days. We have a number of people to thank, and would like to add into Rob Lee's thanks the work of Dave Leith over the first couple of days. The venue staff and the volunteers and the officials, it couldn't happen without them, and they did a wonderful job. And we'd like to thank you, the viewers, for your fantastic support by going on to YouTube, and also for all the tweets that you've put in here. To Glasgow Life, our sponsors, and Scottish Gas, and finally, this wouldn't have come to you without producer Jack McGill and his team, and director Seth Edwards, and of course the rest of the camera people, sound people, and the QTV sports production team. They've done such a marvellous job. You've recognised it by what you've said in the tweets and the comments you've made. A high quality output online, and that's what Scottish Swimming wanted, and QTV delivered. For now, here's the medalists for the 4x100 medley. We're going to leave you with that image from myself, Drew Gordon. It's been a pleasure to take you through the 4 days from all at Tollcross International Swimming Centre in Glasgow. For the moment, it's goodbye.
Charlie Cabbins, Emma Chittleborough, Megan Laurie, and Jordan Sturt. The silver medalists are the team representing East Lothian. Alex Cunningham, Emma Crawford, Jennifer Ritchie, and Jennifer Henderson. The Scottish Gas national champions for 2014 are the team representing Carnegie. The team of Kirsty Simpson, Samantha Caulfield, Tane Bruce and Zoe Mitchell. The Scottish Junior Champions are the team representing Warrender. Team of Charlie Cavans, Emma Chittleborough, Megan Laurie and Jordan Sturt. Ladies and gentlemen, your medalists for the women's 4x100 meters medley relay. We now move to the presentation of the Burger Paints Trophy. The trophy that is awarded to the swim at these championships which earned the most FINA points. The winner of the Burger Paints Trophy for his performance in the men's 200 metres breaststroke. The winner is Michael Jameson from Edinburgh University. Michael is not here, and Dave Pennington, the coach of Edinburgh University, is picking up the Burger Paints Trophy on behalf of Michael Jameson. Michael Jameson earned 976 FINA points. Well done, Michael, and thank you, Dave, for accepting the trophy on his behalf. The final presentation of these championships is for the top club. We've been announcing the points as we've been going along over the last few days. I can confirm the top 6 teams. In 6th position with 424.5 points, the City of Aberdeen. 5th position, 543 Carnegie. 4th position, 605 City of Glasgow. 3rd position, 657 Edinburgh University. 2nd position, 662 University of Stirling. But the winning team with 857 points, Warrender. Well done, Warrender. What a fantastic team performance that has been throughout these championships. And thanks to Dave Downey, President of Scottish Swimming, for making those final presentations.